Dumelang, welcome to Face the Nation. My name is Clement Manyatela. Great to have you with us here on SABC News. On the show tonight, which law enforcement agencies will form part of the special task team the President has directed be established to investigate allegations from the Madlanga Commission? The President has instructed the SAPS to establish this team that will probe people identified by the Commission for investigation. The acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia joins us this evening. We'll also be joined by the President's spokesperson Vincent Magwenya, because the list of people the Madlanga Commission has recommended for investigation doesn't include the Police Minister Senzo Mnchunu, even though it was clear during his testimony that he issued an unlawful instruction regarding the disbandment of the PKTT. So is the President considering action against him? Vincent Magwenya will respond to that. Also on the show, what is happening in the city of Johannesburg? The motion of no confidence in Mayor Dada Morero has been deferred, and a decision has now been taken to establish the position of deputy mayor. Who then takes up that position of deputy mayor? Is it going to be the new regional leader of the ANC, Loyiso Masuku? The ANC in Gauteng speaks to us. And then later, why is Brown Mogotsi unsatisfied with parliamentary security? He failed to appear before Parliament today, leading the ad hoc committee to send him a subpoena. Brown Mogotsi will speak to us. But first, a comment. Okay, so President Cyril Ramaphosa has established this new task team to probe allegations from the Madlanga Commission. The President instructed the SAPS to establish a special task team to probe people identified by the Commission for investigation. So this task team will report to the National Police Commissioner, Fanima Samola. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry's 3-month interim report submitted to Ramaphosa in December has highlighted prima facie allegations of criminality, corruption, fraud, murder, perjury, and other unlawful actions by members of the SAPS, officials of the city of Ekurhuleni, and members of the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. This includes KwaZulu-Natal Hawks head Lesetja Senona, who has actually been testifying before the commission, as well as the SAPS's head of organized crime, Richard Shibiri. So here's a reminder of what some of the people that will be probed by the special task team have been accused of. Some of them have testified before the commission, while others were merely implicated. Here's Major General Lesetja Senona, who appears on that list.
You're really situated exactly the same way as the juniors that you requested a polygraph for. You're not nothing other than your position as head of unit excludes you on these facts as a potential, and please hear me, I'm saying potentially. Nothing excludes you by virtue of your office from being one of the people that may have, been behind this. And I would have thought that concern would have made you say to your superior, I want you to subject me to a polygraph test.
Commissioner, I think the chairperson asked me the very same question. And I responded the very same way I am responding. It is an unfortunate situation that it never crossed my mind that I must offer myself. And I hear your points. And then, as I indicated earlier, some of the things is a learning curve in the near future. Should you be faced with the same type of a situation, even if we won't store again there.
Well, Major General Richard Shibiri is another top cop that has been mentioned at the Madlanga Commission and who will now be investigated.
In my view, even though he did not expressly say so, I left that meeting feeling that General Shibiri was firstly trying to find out what evidence we had that linked the suspects to the murder and how strong our case was at the time. And secondly, to bait us to see if we could be influenced, hence the reference to the envelopes being available. It seems to me that if we were not agreeable to take the envelopes, which was indeed the case, then technically he did not offer us a bribe, but he was merely informing us that there was a bribe up for grabs.
Brigadier Mbangwa Nkwashu is also another top cop who is on the list of those that will be investigated. He was mentioned at the commission by Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo.
On the 16th of April 2025, Brigadier Nkwashu, who is, let me read it as it is, on the 16th of April 2025, Brigadier Nkwashu made an attempt to retrieve the criminal dockets pertaining to the case in which Mr. Katiso Mulife was charged during December 2024. According to Brigadier Nkwashu, this action was taken following a direct instruction from the provincial commissioner, who allegedly mandated that the docket be handed over immediately.
And who can forget the suspended EMPD Commissioner, Julius Mkonazi? He's also on the list.
There was serious frustration on suspension coming. Remember, I was getting overtime and some benefits. Then it was difficult for me to buy food and feed the kids. And you see, then I was saying, Gamla, 200 nyana, 1,000 nyana, and he will and say, no, Gamla, I'll give you some. You see, yes. Let me think of something else. Some I won't even remember, but there was. I won't lie to you.
Well, that was him explaining the transactional relationship he seemingly had with Ket Matala in the monies that exchanged their hands. The former city manager at the Ekurhuleni municipality, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, is also going to be investigated.
The gist of the matter in this, the chief of police was never consulted in terms of his letter. He was never consulted by Mkonazi. He was on duty, chief of police. Mkonazi was not acting, and he went ahead to appoint these officials. And the act is very clear that it must be in consultation with him, irrespective of the systems of delegation.
And of course, these are not the only people that are going to be investigated. There are many others that have been implicated who appear on the list that will be investigated by this special task team. The question we're asking you, though, tonight is, do you think the Commission should have included in their interim report a recommendation for the President to act against the Police Minister Senzo Mnchunu? And what do you make, broadly, of the special task team that will now investigate these individuals? You can share your thoughts with us by sending your messages on X at Face the Nation, SABC. After the break, we start our conversation with the Presidency spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya. Stay with us. Welcome back. President Cyril Ramaphosa has directed the Acting Minister of Police, Professor Firoz Cachalia, and the National Police Commissioner, General Fanima Semona, to constitute the Special Investigations Task Team to probe people identified by the Commission for investigation. So let's pick up from that instruction now with the Presidency spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, who joins us in studio. Vincent, thank you so much for making time. Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening. It's been a long day. Good evening.
It has been a long day. The Special Investigations Task Team, will it only comprise of SAPS officers or other law enforcement agencies like the Hawks, IDEC, and the like?
No, it will need to be a multidisciplinary task team so that you are able to accelerate the various processes to a point where you get to the conclusion of the matters. As you saw in our statement, the President has instructed law enforcement agencies to act with a great deal of speed in processing these issues and in conducting further investigations as issues or matters flow out of the commission.
Yeah, is General Masamula the right person, though, to lead this task team?
Well, why will it be a wrong person? He's not an implicated party. He is still the National Police Commissioner of the South African Police Service. And operationally, he's the overall responsible person for SAPS. So there is nothing that prohibits General Masamula from leading this task team or having the person that leads it report directly to him. He has a direct line to the president, and that will give the president a direct line of sight on the progress of the investigation.
I suppose I'm asking that question because this is the same man who has admitted, even at the Madlanga Commission, that he implemented an unlawful instruction. I mean, he was asked that, do you understand what the law says in as far as the lines of authority are concerned? And he said, yes, the instruction that the police minister gave him was unlawful. It was interfering in operational matters, and yet he still continued to implement it.
Well, Clement,
it's questionable, isn't it?
There's no finding against General Masamula. He's not under any investigation. He's not an implicated party. And till this day, he's still running the South African Police Service in his capacity as the National Police Commissioner. So in that regard, he is fit and proper to look after this task. Should there be issues further down the line, the president will look at those issues. But as things stand, there is no reason for the president not to have confidence in General Masamula.
What happens in cases where, like, crime intelligence, for instance, is already investigating some of the people? Take the Gauteng organized crime Major General Richard Shibiri. Dumisani Kumalo, the Lieutenant General, confirmed that their investigation as crime intelligence into Shibiri are at an advanced stage. So do you bring them into the special task team?
No.
How does it work?
Not only just crime intelligence, even IPIT. There are matters that IPIT may be already investigating. So those investigations will continue. But at some point, you will imagine that those processes will then be consolidated into the sort of bigger process. More importantly, the president will want to see how those matters are progressing through the various stages of investigations and the criminal justice system.
Okay, so let's talk about then the political process, because this interim report, I mean, we haven't seen it. We've only seen what the president says it recommends. Is it silent on politicians like Senzo Mnchunu? Does it not mention him at all?
No, it mentions him, but there's no recommendation against him.
What does it say about him?
No, I won't get into that. But I think what is important, because where your question is heading is, why is the president not acting against it?
No, but I think where my question starts, I think South Africans would like to know what the report says about the police minister.
In summary, Clement, the report does refer to the evidence and the allegation. It does refer to the evidence that the minister has led at the commission, as well as what has been the allegations against the minister. The minister is still going to go back to the commission and answer to more allegations against him, including the ones that have recently surfaced. The president wants him to go back and answer to all of the allegations before he can consider his next steps in regard to the minister specifically. And so that matter will be concluded at an appropriate time once the president has, or rather once the minister has gone back to the commission and the commission has given clear findings against the minister.
So as we speak right now, in the interim report, the commission doesn't say anything about prima facie evidence against Senzo Mnchunu?
No, it doesn't at this stage.
Okay, that doesn't stop the president from acting, though. Why is the president not taking action against Senzo Mnchunu? And I'm asking that question because take what the commission has done now. There are certain people who have not even appeared before the Madlanga Commission, and yet the Madlanga Commission has now recommended that those people, they must be investigated. So the fact that the minister has to go back to the commission doesn't mean that the president is hamstrung to act against him. Otherwise, the Madlanga Commission also wouldn't have recommended that people who haven't even appeared before them be investigated.
No, indeed, Clement, but we also have to appreciate that what the commission has done is in line with the terms of reference. It's not just out of its own initiative. It's there embedded in the terms of reference that it can make referrals and it can make recommendations on certain matters to be referred for further investigations. Clement, the minister is a politician. The president, to your point, has the power to act against him and to decide what happens with him in this regard. There's also nothing prohibiting the president from allowing the minister to go through due process in the form of the commission before he considers any form of action. So you could say that if he acted now, he will be acting on a matter that's incomplete. The commission has not given the president a firm finding against the minister. The minister is still to appear at the commission again. And so up until then, the president is not going to rush into any form of action. One appreciates and understands the pressure for the president to act immediately. A lot of the evidence that has been led at the commission has been quite disturbing. It has contributed to eroding public levels of confidence in law enforcement. And so the president is keen that we get on with investigations where we can. And at the end of the commission's work, he will take decisive action.
But I suppose what is frustrating, Vincent, is that the minister has made concessions at the Madlanga Commission. The president is not legally obligated to even follow any recommendations of the Madlanga Commission. So saying that he's waiting for that process to be concluded, I think, is a cop-out. Let's look at what the minister has conceded to. He has failed to consult before taking such a big decision to disband the PKTT. That's one thing that the Madlanga Commission has made it clear to him. He interfered in operational matters by instructing the National Police Commissioner to disband the PKTT immediately. He failed to even do a review of the task team before disbanding it. That compromised investigations because dockets got stuck at head office before they were sent back. Is that not serious enough for the president to say, I am not going to let you stay in office while taxpayers are paying your salary? I am going to ask you to step aside because what you stand accused of and what you've just conceded to is quite serious, unless the president doesn't think what I've just mentioned is serious.
No, it is quite serious, and it is a concern to the president. That's why the president has placed him on special leave. He's not in charge of any portfolio or the police portfolio for that matter. But Clement, this is a political process, if you like. And the president is ensuring that before he acts, which he will do, and he will do so decisively, that he has given Minister Mnchunu enough of an opportunity to go through due process, to have the commission conclude its work and make a finding that can then inform the president's action. I hear where you're coming from. All of those issues are issues of concern. But let's allow this due process to take place so that when the president does act, there is no complaint or issue of any form of unfairness.
There's no way that the minister would complain that the president, you're unfair to me. When the president says to the minister, you took decisions that compromised investigations, you interfered in operational matters. Even if the minister says to the president, you are acting against me unfairly, there's no ground to stand on.
Well, Clement, so far as things stand, the president's view is let the minister answer to allegations against him. And when the process is concluded, he will act accordingly. And remember, the work of the commission is much broader than just one person. Out of the work of the commission, we're going to be able to even look at possible reforms that can be implemented not only at SAPS, but throughout the entire criminal justice system. And so we shouldn't get over-fixated over just one person, as much as one appreciates the urgency of action and the president being seen to be acting. He is acting now, as we've published all those names.
He's acting against other people, just not his political comrades.
Well, it's not a case of Minister Mnchunu is being defended or protected.
Well, the president has a tendency to protect his comrades.
There's no protection.
Can I give you
here.
examples?
There's no protection.
Can I
here.
give you examples?
No, don't worry about examples. In this particular case, there's no evidence of the president protecting Minister Mnchunu in any way whatsoever.
Zweli Mkhize was accused. There was overwhelming evidence against him with digital vibes. The president didn't act against him.
He's still a minister.
He resigned. And that's the point I'm making. The frustration South Africans had is the president said, with overwhelming evidence against Zweli Mkhize, he didn't act. In fact, he waits for Zweli Mkhize to resign. That is not decisive action. Decisive action is, I'm revolted with your behavior, and I see what the evidence is, and I can't have you in my cabinet. So is that going to be the case also with Senzo Mnchunu, where the president then says, let me wait for him to resign? That is not decisive action. David Mahlobo, I've used this example to you before. David Mahlobo was found wanting by the task team the president appointed at State Security Agency. What did the president do? He gives him a job in his cabinet. Arthur Fraser is another one. I can go on and on. Arthur Fraser was found wanting. He did wrong things at the State Security Agency. Did the president take action against him? No, he didn't. He gives him a job as Correctional Services Commissioner. The point I'm making is we've seen this tendency before where politicians, and the president in particular, protects his comrades. He is not decisive. And hence now the frustration is, if really the president is concerned about what has been revealed in as far as the behavior of Senzo Mnchunu, why would he want to wait for the commission to finish its work?
Yeah, no, I think, Clement, your definition of protecting will be different from mine. There was no protection of former Minister Zweli Mkhize. You were not privy to conversations that may have led to Minister Mkhize finally resigning. So you cannot claim with authority that the president did not do anything.
Why didn't you fire him then?
No, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying to you, you are not privy to conversations that may have led to Minister Mkhize resigning.
Did he ask him to resign?
No, it's neither here nor there. What conversation they had, the fact is he's no longer a minister, and he couldn't have continued to be a minister. You talk about David Mahlobo. David Mahlobo has taken the Zondo Commission on review. You have to allow...
I'm not talking about the Zondo Commission.
You have to allow
I'm not talking about the Zondo Commission. I'm talking about the task team. Sidney Mufamadi, who's the president's security advisor now, the president asked him, please go and investigate the behavior of David Mahlobo at State Security Agency. Money was spent on that investigation. Sidney Mufamadi came back and said, this man was responsible partly for the breakdown of the State Security Agency. Arthur Fraser, David Mahlobo. What did the president do about it? He put that report on the side and said, I'm going to give these people jobs.
No, that's not the case. And that's not the case, Clement. You are nitpicking on small individual cases, and you are negating the bigger picture of what the president has committed to. Number one, General Mkhwanazi makes serious allegations with respect to what he saw as capture of the criminal justice system by criminal syndicates. The president acts immediately, institutes a commission of inquiry. That commission has produced an interim report and has made referrals. The president accepts that report and supports those referrals, goes further to ensure that there's capacity to realize the end of what the commission has recommended. And so you cannot cloud what the president has decided to do now as action and cloud it with individual cases that you are also incorrectly contextualizing. So we can sit here all night and argue about these cases. The fact is, with respect to the Madlanga Commission, the president recognizes that what has come out of that commission has contributed to low levels of confidence in law enforcement. We need to change that. There's an opportunity to reform the criminal justice system. That will happen when the commission has concluded its work. Action is going to be taken against implicated parties. And so you cannot make a general statement and say the president doesn't act. You say he protects his comrades. I will respectfully argue that the president is a person of due process. He prefers to have due process in place.
Sometimes at the cost of what?
We
are paying for a minister's salary who has found to have interfered in operational matters.
We're a country of laws, Clement.
But we're a country with a president who can decide that I'm not going to let South Africans continue to pay your salary because your behavior is bordering on interference.
We're a country of laws, we have a constitution, and we're a country that ensures that when we deal with people, whether there are allegations against them or not, those people are dealt with in a fair manner, and that's what the president fundamentally believes in. And in this particular case, he will act when he needs to act against Minister Mnchunu.
When he needs to act? He doesn't think he needs to act against Mnchunu now, given what he has heard at the commission?
You can hold the view that he must act now. He holds the view that he will act once the commission has concluded its work.
What stops him from acting before the commission concludes its work?
Because he believes that Minister Mnchunu must answer to those allegations, and that at the end of the commission's work, the commission will have findings against Minister Mnchunu that he can then reference in his action.
Okay, just lastly, the president has also extended the Gabinde inquiry. The original date for the submission for the final report, I think, was tomorrow.
Yeah.
So now it's been extended to, what, is it June?
It's the 30th of June. That's due to delays when that inquiry started with its work. And so there was a request that the president granted to extend the inquiry. That's within the provisions of the Act, that he can do so as much as he has the power to set up that inquiry. And so he has allowed the inquiry to run until the end of June.
Is he disappointed with the behavior of the outgoing head of the NPA, Shamila Batohi?
He will be meeting Advocate Shamila Batohi very soon, and he will have that conversation directly with Advocate Shamila Batohi. It's not for me to relay or to speculate on that conversation now.
All right. Vincent, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Clement.
After the break, Minister of Police, the acting one though, Firoz Cachalia. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's stay with that story now of the president establishing or instructing the acting minister and the National Police Commissioner to establish the special task team that will investigate individuals that have been implicated or recommended for investigation by the Madlanga Commission. The acting police minister is Firoz Cachalia, joining us now on the line. Minister, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening.
A pleasure and good evening.
Yeah. What approach will you be taking as the acting minister in establishing this task team? Does it only comprise of SAPS officers or other law enforcement agencies like the Hogs, IDEC and the like?
So the National Commissioner hasn't yet reported back to me on the exact composition of the Special Investigation Task Team, but it will include investigators and prosecutors. And their mandate will be to investigate all the individuals. There are 14 of them, 5 police officers, senior police officers, and then the rest are either officials or EMPD officers in Kuruleni. They will all be investigated on the basis of the findings of the Madlanga Commission for criminal conduct.
Yeah.
In addition, the Commission and I have agreed that they will all, well, at least the police officers, but I've also had a discussion with the mayor, they will be placed on precautionary suspension, and that the commissioner will establish panels. I'm hoping that it will include outside experts in the interests of rigor and transparency to consider the disciplinary charges against the same individuals. So there are 2 tracks, the disciplinary track as well as the criminal investigation.
Just to confirm there, Minister Cachalia, are you saying that the people who were listed there who are going to be investigated are going to be placed on precautionary suspension pending the outcome of the investigation by this special task team?
Yes, that was, I based that on the discussion I had with the National Commissioner. He hasn't yet reported back to me on the implementation of that discussion, on the outcomes of that discussion, but that's what I asked him to look at.
Okay. Minister, did you have to wait? In fact, I'm asking this question broadly to the leadership of the SAPS. Did you have to wait for the Madlanga Commission to indicate who must be investigated in this interim report and the President to instruct that there be a special task team to investigate these people? Isn't this a decision that the National Police Commissioner could have taken? I mean, the kind of evidence that has come out of Madlanga Commission is quite overwhelming. I mean, at the face of it, the National Police Commissioner should have been proactive and take action against some of these officers, even if it was in a precautionary basis.
In fact, he indicated to me that he had initiated some investigations without giving me the details yet. But I will say this. So there is a question about whether we wait for the outcomes of the commission and its final findings. To what extent we should be acting more proactively. There is a question about that. It's remember that in the first phase of this inquiry, all we've heard is evidence without cross-examination effectively and without hearing all the witnesses. So these, in a sense, are preliminary findings. But the Commission has made it clear that with respect to these identified individuals, there is prima facie evidence. Now, on the basis of that evidence, we are now able to initiate disciplinary processes, as well as to set up, of course, this takes resources, to set up a special investigation team with a mandate to investigate criminal conduct on the basis of these prima facie findings.
Okay.
That means that there at this point isn't conclusive evidence, but there is enough evidence for further investigations.
All right. So, Minister, there's so much wrought, I mean, from what we've heard so far through the ad hoc committee, the Madlanga Commission, quite a lot of rot in the SAPS. I mean, as much has been revealed. There are clearly other officers we may not know about who are equally compromised. So how do we even know that the officers chosen to be part of this task team are the good ones? I mean, the head of crime intelligence claimed in Parliament that almost all SAPS members in the province are compromised. He made this conclusion after an analysis he said was made, and he found that some of them actually work with criminal cartels. Are you aware of the analysis as the leadership of the police? And also, how do you know which ones are good, which ones are bad?
So I did hear General Khumalo make that observation in his testimony before the commission. I was a bit concerned about that statement because he was either not able to provide the evidence for quite a far-reaching statement or felt that it was not the appropriate forum for him to do so. But the statement, nevertheless, is very concerning. Now, look, you know, it's very clear from the evidence that has been led thus far that there are serious problems of misconduct and even criminal capture of parts of the criminal justice system. The question is what we're going to do about it. There are actions that have to be taken against individuals where there is a sufficient evidentiary basis, and there will also be coming out of the commission, and I hope from the ad hoc committee as well, some recommendations of systemic reform. I am not simply waiting for the outcome of these inquiries, because it's very clear to me, for instance, that procurement needs reform. Disciplinary processes within the South African Police Service also need more rigor and strengthening. It must be evident to the society as a whole that criminal intelligence needs strengthening, both from a probity point of view as well as from a let's say, an effectiveness point of view. And this is particularly important if we're going to be able to tackle organized crime effectively. So I think that we are in what I would call a Madlanga moment. We are in a moment where evidence is being led, which tells us as a society and the decision makers in our society how deep the problems are, how extensive they are, so that we can make decisions that help reset policing in this country. I must say that it's important to have a focus and balance as we as a country undertake this exercise. Is the glass half full or half empty? From my point of view, my job, acting under the instructions of the President, is to be focused, is to be clear about what needs to be done, is to take society on board, to take our people on board, to be transparent about my reasoning and the decisions that I believe I have to take.
Yeah. Minister, I know that the interim report didn't say anything about the National Police Commissioner and whether or not he needs to be investigated. But I've got to raise this with you because, I mean, it is of great concern, and I wonder if it concerns you, the fact that he is the one that is going to lead the special task team, given that it was at the Madlanga Commission where he actually conceded that he implemented an unlawful instruction from the Police Minister Senzo Mnchunu. He understands that the minister is not allowed to interfere in operational matters like that. He understands that he is not obligated to take any instruction from ministers that may also be unlawful. Are you worried at all about that concession at the Madlanga Commission, and how do we move from that?
So at this point, there is no evidence against the National Commissioner of misconduct or worse. There's no evidence. So from my point of view, I have to work with the incumbent National Commissioner on this reset agenda.
Okay.
Now, yes, I mean, and I would say that, you know, you might, I don't know if you have time and you really want to explore this question because of the way you frame it about whether the decision that the previous minister made was unlawful or not, on the basis that it was an interference with an operational matter. I have some questions about that. I think we should much more focus on the substance of the decision as well as the process by which the decision was made, you know, whether there was consultation or not, and so forth. We can explore that question if you want. Yeah. So the commissioner did accept in the commission, he did accept that framing, which then leads to the question that you're asking, whether he went along with a decision that he considered unlawful. Then, of course, that does raise the question. But for me, in a way, I'm not sure that is the central question or whether it arises at all.
All right. Minister Firoz Cachalia, we're out of time. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. But I really appreciate you making time for us on Face the Nation this evening. And, of course, as you can see on your screens there, the breaking news is that the Minister of Police, the acting minister, confirming with us this evening that all the people whom the Madlanga Commission has recommended that they be investigated by, well, the special task team that the President has now directed be established, are going to be put on precautionary suspension. That's what the Minister has confirmed with us this evening. Let's move to this now. The ad hoc committee investigating allegations raised by KZN Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Madlanga Commission will subpoena Northwest businessman Brown Mogotsi to appear before the committee as a witness. Mogotsi has refused to appear before the committee unless his personal security detail is paid for by Parliament. He was scheduled to appear before the committee today. He joins us now live from our studio in the Northwest. Mr. Mogotsi, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening.
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers.
Why didn't you go to Parliament today to testify as initially planned? What happened?
Initially, Clement, the engagement started 12 days ago. and one of the first things that I raised was the issue of the security. And I was talking, of course, to the Secretary of Parliament. We have exchanged the communications and so forth. And part of that I have requested from Parliament, I have actually sent it through to your producer, that you are able to see how and what is it that we have spoken about. And they could not meet that request. It's a humble request. And for the sake of my security, there was no way I could go there.
Okay, I'll get the listeners to, because I've looked at what you've sent the producers earlier on and what you expected Parliament to do. I'll get to that in a moment. But can you confirm whether or not you've received the subpoena from Parliament as we speak now?
No, I have not yet received the subpoenas. Yesterday, even though it was spoken on the media that I'll be subpoenaed, we had more discussion with the Secretary of Parliament looking at the possibilities that I avail myself either next week or the week after. Okay.
Now, let's look at what you are expecting Parliament to do. Parliament offered to provide you with security. Why wasn't that satisfactory for you? Part of what you sent us earlier on is that the security company that you are utilizing can only quote a minimum of 7 days. And if they leave on Saturday, you can fly on Sunday to Cape Town and they can fetch you from the Cape Town airport. So let's start with the parliamentary security first. Why are you not satisfied with security that Parliament offers you?
Yeah, first of all, Clement, the arrangement was because I had to prepare with the investigators and the evidence leaders. I had the possibilities, or what was possible was that I should arrive on Sunday for Monday. Then that's where the 7 days story came from, because now the people I'm traveling with, they are using ammunition which could not be used over this aeroplane so easily. So they had to travel, meaning they had to drive to Cape Town. And if you calculate, if I arrive on Sunday, they had to leave on Saturday. If I arrive on Monday, they had to leave on Sunday. Meaning I could consult Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, appear tomorrow, and probably go back on Saturday. That would fall within the 7 days period that I was referring to. But in addition, if you talk of security, Clement, this is a different thing. Even yourself, you can't be told, come to the airport, someone will pick you up. It means somebody had to come there holding a placard written Brown Mogotsi, and I had to go and meet that person, take me to a hotel. I can't ask him for water. I don't know him. I did not know the person. And the same person must take me to prepare with the lawyers, go back to a hotel, take me for lunch, bring me food. It's practically impossible. So we have spoken about that. And the parliamentary security that they refer to, they never even classified. I'm having CPOs, your close protection officers, which runs these things in a different way that all CPOs have a knowledge about. So they could not even indicate to me that here's a CPO, let him, the head of CPO, speak to my CPO and make this arrangement as to how and will I travel and so forth? Where will I eat? Because these bookings, I don't do bookings. With CPOs, they do everything. What you eat, where you go, you get the route the morning. That principal, this is where you're going, this is what's going to happen. You provide them with the details prior, and they do a security preparation, even the routes.
Okay.
In Cape Town, yes, they must do all those things for you. I could, yes.
Is your life at risk like that, Mr. Mogotsi? And when did it start being at risk like that? Because it seems like you, from what I'm picking up, you're suggesting that you need advanced security. I don't think even ministers have that level of security you're asking for.
Yeah, it's not what I'm asking for. It's what I'm using currently. That's what I've actually taken since last year. But what is significant here, Clement, one of the evidence I led in Madlanga, an informant has been killed. An informant participated in an operation with the police. 17 suspects were killed. He was part of the operation. Claims were then made. Instead of, let me say, 1 million rand was supposed to be given to the informant, he received 50,000 rand. 2-3 days or a week, he was killed. Even witness D in Madlanga, he was also taken out. It is very much unfortunate that with my instance in First Loras, it was all over social media. I came out running and shooting the car and so forth. But I'm telling you, you cannot detect. You'll never know when is at that moment, something to happen to you. But most significantly, I led evidence against the General Mkonazi, National Commissioner, and Lieutenant General Mkonazi. That's the state. Being opposite to the state is not a normal thing. It's not like eating in a restaurant and have a fight over something in a restaurant. No, it's different.
So do you think this is the state that would want to kill you?
I cannot say it is the state. I'm saying I'm against the state. It is the state currently, or let me tell you, when they say at the Magadla, how he passed on, a Mercedes-Benz from Crime Intelligence, a AK-47, which was in the SAP-13, was retrieved and killed Magadla. In the hands of the state, the man died. So let me say, those examples, those incidents are evident as to who am I referring to.
So to be clear then, what I'm asking then, it seems to be what you're suggesting. It's the state that you think could kill you. It's the state that you do not trust.
Yes, I don't trust the state. Definitely, I don't trust the state.
Okay, here's a challenge though with Parliament. They may not have the money to cover your advanced and elaborate security because, again, the message you had sent us earlier is that the company you utilize can only code a minimum of 7 days. If Parliament gets you together with your security, must they get the security for a minimum of 7 days? And how much are we talking here? How much would Parliament have to pay in order to ensure that you come with your security and they cover that?
Yes, Clement, I've indicated that message was kind of responding to the invitation that I should arrive on Sunday. Let's say I appear in Madlanga in Parliament on Thursday, and we leave. And they leave on Tuesday, I leave on Wednesday, I appear Thursday and Friday. Obviously, it's going to be 4 or 5 days. It cannot be a week. The only thing that matters most here is that they have to travel on the road. And if I have to fly or if I travel with them, whichever way, we have to travel a day before, 2 days before, if they go over the road.
Okay, so how much?
I cannot go today when I appear tomorrow. If I appear Wednesday,
So how long would they need to be hired for? Like if you come with them. So if, let's say, Parliament agrees that, okay, we'll cover your security, you can come with them. How much are we talking here? And how long would Parliament need to get them for?
If it's 3 days, it's 3 days or 4 days. It cannot be more than 60,000, 80,000 rand. That's what I'm currently. Remember now, they have to travel more than 1,000 kilometers to Cape Town. The fuel and the accommodation. I'm traveling. I cannot give the details of security tests, but I know almost 4 people. They travel with me in 2 cars, and sometimes there are 5. I cannot give the specifics at the moment. But I'm saying, if they stay, if we have 4 rooms in Cape Town for 4 days, that will be the cost. And then we know how much companies will charge per kilo traveling and so forth.
So we're looking just for security.
They have more standard rates. It's not that I will cook them.
Okay, so that means
and
about
accommodation, that's all.
Four
the rest
rooms.
Will be able to.
So 4 rooms, let's say, for hotels, but also in terms of them protecting you, we're looking at about what? You said about 60,000 rand for the 3 days.
Around 4 to 5 days, yeah. But I cannot determine for the company. I guess they must issue their quotation, and Parliament must look into it.
When did you get the security company to start protecting?
I cannot determine that.
You can't determine when you started using them?
Last year, it was last year.
When last year? In November,
it was around,
in August?
I think September last year. No, before October.
So
around September.
So where were they then when you were shot and you managed to run away from that shooting? Because if really you are so concerned about your security and it's so advanced, how did they let you drive on your own to a point where you survive a shooting?
Alone, yeah. Yes, and that's a very good question. Thank you, Clement. It's time to clarify that. Obviously, I did report, even on the statement, I did say, like when I'm at home, sometimes they stay in a hotel, I'm at my house, I do drive alone. I had a personal thing to do, kind of rituals and stuff to make those things, practical. I couldn't bring people. And I learned from that day till today that it's important to always have these people around you. They even want me. I have letters because they even terminated, and we had to renegotiate again because they terminated the contract on the same day. And the following day after the incident, they were very, very upset and unhappy. And being a layman, not used to that kind of life, I did not really take that serious like I'm doing now.
So you had rituals to attend to, and these people couldn't drive you to wherever you're going to do your rituals and allow you to do your rituals? Because I imagine your rituals were not on the road while you're driving, right? You were going to a destination to perform them. They could have driven you there, drop you off to manage your business.
No, that's why I said I took it that I must do it. It's a personal thing. I mean, being claiming my teller, maybe we are Zulu plus. I will want to go alone. It's just that kind of
yeah, but you can be dropped off. So if me and my life is in danger, they can drop me off. They can even drop me off at the corner. They don't have to drop me off at the Nyangeni that I'm going to. So
yes, you are right. That's why I say I learned from that to never ever let these people off me. Like they should not be. I should never have that situation again. I learned. You'll take it light. You'll think. I even drove a car from Mafikeng, which I thought people did not know.
Have you deposed a statement regarding that shooting to the police?
Yes, the investigation is on. Even now, have been conducted. They have found some DNA samples. The forensic people. The investigation is very positive, and I'm happy with it.
Okay. Just lastly, are you still considered a state agent now that you are scared of the state and you think they could kill you? Are you still a state agent then, like you have said?
I cannot respond to that question. Let me tell you, I thought you will ask me about going back to Madlanga because I'm being invited. Being an agent or not an agent now is immaterial. I have to abide by the law. Once invited, I must come there. And the state is not these individuals who wants to put the running of the state in their pockets. No.
Okay.
Their time will come, and I believe ultimately the law will take its course.
Okay. Brown Mogotsi, let me thank you for making time for us. We're out of time, but I really appreciate you coming through this evening. And thanks to you for watching the Thursday edition of Face the Nation. We'll be back with you on Tuesday next week at 8 p.m. Have a good evening. Cheers.